not found it necessary to recruit by raising the number. We can certainly do that, but I have not received a request to do that. But we're not bound by the minimum wage law because of being a public sector.
I know that that's not part of this. We're only talking about the job, not the rate. I clearly understand that. That was just for information of my knowledge.
No problem.
My wife is currently doing this on loving it's not just being there and dropping off meal.
Yeah.
The interaction with
The interaction's more than just delivering the meals. It's important, especially if you have an elder that takes advantage of or I want to say advantage, but takes part in the program. It's important to know that that person is still alive and breathing, because that may be the only contact that they have.
very much so. Can I get a motion on number 11?
Sure.
Ms. Bruner, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Number 12, sir.
Number 12 is in the office of the treasurer to set the salary for the treasurer's fiscal administrator to be negotiated. The amount would be a $22.99 per hour, $42,003 annually equivalent. Now, there's a little peculiarity here, which I'll point to your attention. So we talked about the fiscal administrator in the office of health department being exempt and therefore not being eligible for overtime. The fiscal administrator in the treasurer's office has different duties and job responsibilities. So even though they have the same job title, this job is overtime eligible because the treasurer has not assigned this person any supervisory or exempt duties. So it's confusing. And the decision or the analysis that takes place, whether they're exempt or non-exempt under the Fair Labor Standards Act, is peculiar to each individual job. And whether they pass the standardized tests of that particular position. And the most prevalent one is independent decision-making, supervisory duties, hiring and firing, those kind of decisions. So that's why this one is hourly and the other one is not, if you had a question about it, or maybe that's just too much information.
Any comments? What's the salary now?
Is there anyone? Is there any position?
Right, just we just created.
So this has already been filled.
No, we do not have a candidate.
Yes, we do.
Oh,
There's somebody working.
that's right, I'm sorry.
So it's going to go back to the date she
Well,
started.
yes, and your range that you gave her was 42 to 55,000. Is that a range?
We haven't had anybody in that position before.
No, it's a brand new position.
We created that in previous sessions. And so what would happen, as Cheryl says, is you guys approved the range. We went out and recruited a candidate, negotiated the salary within the range, and now we're coming back to report back to you that we haven't accomplished what you asked us to do, and this is the range for the salary.
But and you bring up a good point, because I should have an effective date in here, so I'll look that up and that'll make the resolution.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? I have a motion from Supervisor Bruner, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Okay, I have some discussion items that I think would be better appropriate in executive session. They are the amount of the COVID-19 religious exemption mandate, which has some confidentiality attached to it. I want to give you an update on the progress of collective bargaining with the CSEA. I also have a report for you on the oral argument made in the Darrell Rogers versus Wyoming County lawsuit. So I request.
Mr. Carberman, before you go any further, there's a number of things that we have with Mr. Wojcik, and I think somewhere along the way, there will be something for executive session on in his portion. Would it be we will continue with the, go back to page 2, with Mr. Wojcik, go down through and then go into executive session towards the end.
Mr. Becker, I would normally offer the committee an opportunity to ask me questions about the monthly EAP report and the civil service update. That's pretty standard stuff.
Shall we?
If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, we can move forward.
Any questions on those reports? Sure.
As I indicated at the committee as a whole, I want to present to you with this venue, my proposal for the continuation of legal services for the county after I depart on December 31st. Want to introduce to you face-to-face for the first time, Jennifer Wilkinson. Just a little bit about her. She is an experienced litigator. Jen and I have worked together for 15 years now.
Yeah, I've been with Eric's office for 17.
So we were both mentored by Eric Dad, and now she's been, so 15 years for that, she's been with DSS for close to 5 as a assistant county attorney. Her background, she lives in Attica. Her daughter goes to the Attica Central Schools. Her husband is a state trooper. She has a very good rapport with DSS and public health, which is very important. The department heads know and like her. That's very important. And the bigger selling point is the lineage that the office in Attica has provided the county for over 70 years with Lori Zamowski, who's been over there since 1981. Mark Dad, obviously the lineage doesn't have to be detailed right now. So what I'm asking for today is the adoption of the contracts that are laid out. These have not changed. They've been passed, now almost 10 years. And that Jen would continue the legal services for the county attorney's office. Want anything?
Just that I'm happy to be here, and I know some of you, and I've been in Attica since 2004 after I passed the bar exam, and I've enjoyed living in the community, and we plan to be here. My daughter is in 8th grade, and so we'll be here, and I would look forward to assisting the county in a new position if you will have me.
The other thing is just a caveat. In a world we're living in, we're one executive order going back into a whole legal order of restrictions and other things that you're going to need detail on how to proceed. And I'm fully confident that Jen can provide you that, because we met with the chairwoman. She's very comfortable with her. Cheryl was comfortable with her. And if you have a question about the current DSS position that Jen currently occupies, we do have actually 2 candidates.
I talked to several folks that I plan to talk to Judge Kibler and make sure that he's comfortable with all the folks that I've been talking to, and then we can make a selection. Brian Degnan started and took over Jan Benson's position in June, and that's been going well. And so I think the folks that I've been speaking with will be a good fit for both working with the caseworkers, working with the judge, and working with Brian. I know that they're not happy to have me move up, but I would be happy to move up and find somebody and train them up to replace me. When I took over doing the neglect cases, the person had quit suddenly and I had no assistance. And so I learned everything I needed to know in the first couple months. And, you know, a hardworking person, and so I would be happy to continue working hard for the county in just a different position and find somebody to replace me that I can train up to do the things that I've been doing and hopefully keep up that good work as well.
And her mettle was tested during COVID because as I indicated before, we went from cases where we would have 2 or 3 neglect per month to what, 20?
I would be filing instead of once every other month, I'd be filing a case weekly for a new
Yeah.
case, and so it adds up.
And she's proven herself time and time again and is one heck of a lawyer. So that's what I propose. So these contracts on my agenda are, again, there's no increase that anything. One is for the rent for the office space of the building in Attica. That's basically the triple lead sign for the contract processing and that sort of thing. The next one is with David Nelson, who's been doing that for about 30 years. That's the retention of DSS outstanding amounts owed. Some years we'll get tens of thousands of dollars. In a couple years, we've got over 100,000 back. These are mostly in the form of estates when people have liens on their estates from the nursing home. They will actually work with DSS to get that money back. The next one is the contract, the annual contract with Mark Dadd as a consultant to the county attorney's office. Just to give you an example of what you're paying for, if we get both Chairman Berlinger, Chairman Davis, Chairwoman Ryan would often get questions, and I'd get a phone call and say, we need an answer on this fairly quickly. It's a heck of a lot easier to walk down the hallway and have the experience of Lori Zamowski and Mark Dadd, because you can't, that training is something you can't purchase. So I'll literally have files where I walk down the hallway and ask Lori a question, and be like, oh yeah, this came up in 1998 or 1988. And yeah, we'll have the answer probably within a lot shorter time if you didn't have that background. So that's the point for having Judge Dadd on that contract. I think.
I got a question regarding that.
Yep.
So is that billed hourly or is that billed like quarterly for the full amount of 20,000?
I think it's monthly. I don't know how it's paid.
It's regularly.
So that goes to Mark though, doesn't go to the office.
Correct.
Thank you.
And I know that Lisa and I take advantage of Mark's expertise on a pretty regular basis.
I would imagine.
Just throw that out there.
1 through 3. Further discussion into later on. If you continue with number 4, please.
Oh, that's the usual contract with the indigent defense services out of Albany, and that's covered by the Burrell Herring Grant.
Same thing, but we do need a motion on number 5. This is just to cover the monies and formalize it. Mr. Roach makes a motion on number 5. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Number 6, general update.
Those topics can wait for executive session.
Okay. And number 7, point, county attorney. Session. That's all we have at this point. Sir, motion to go into executive session is your request. And I get a motion from a member of the committee, Mr. Cal, and I need a second, Mr. Granger. Thank you. We're in executive session.
We're gonna stop here.
Works, thank you.
No sense in standing.
By doing implementation.
Make more just.
She knows what to do.
She knows what to
She does. She's been warned.
do.
She's been warned.